Hey there, Jenn Dize here for Status Coup, and I am coming to you with a sobering topic, and that is the topic of sexual harassment and sexual assault. So if those topics are triggering for you, then please don't watch this video. This is important information, and it needs to get out there otherwise. So please keep in mind the topic and step away if this information isn't the right fit for you at this time, or if it is triggering for you at this time. With that said, let's talk about Joe Biden and sexual harassment and sexual assault. A lot of you are familiar with the allegations that Tara Reade has brought against Joe Biden. There's a very thorough and long interview that she has done with Katie Halper of the Katie Halper Show that you can find. I'll link to that on it's her SoundCloud account. She's also done interviews with Democracy Now! So this is an allegation, and I'm not saying I haven't interviewed Tara myself. I have reached out to Tara. She's gotten back to me, but so far we haven't set a time to do an interview. We'll see if she gets back about that. In the meantime, all I can do is report on the information that is out there. I am not alleging that Joe Biden has done anything. I am simply reporting on the information that is out there. But I am also reporting on the hypocrisy of many in the Me Too movement, of many women who were and purportedly are advocates for women who have been assaulted, who have come forward with their stories, who are now all of a sudden silent when it comes to Joe Biden and these allegations. And not just silent, but in one case, actively deleting past support for Me Too on Twitter. And in another case, doing a complete 180 on her previous views on Me Too and what should happen when a woman comes forward with an allegation. Before we get into that, let's do an overview of the allegations that have come out already against Joe Biden. This piece actually came out April 5th of 2019. So this was a full year ago that this came out. And since then, Tara Reade has expanded upon her allegations against Joe Biden. So again, keep that in mind as we go through. So this is in The Cut. Let me actually go over to the article itself. I had it in my Instapaper. So all the women who have spoken out against Joe Biden. This is by Amanda Arnold, again from a year ago. Ahead of former Vice President Joe Biden's expected, and now of course we know that he did in fact end up running, 2020 bid, women are speaking out about their personal interactions with him, alleging he physically touched them in ways that made them feel uncomfortable. So Lucy Flores had published her Cut essay and noting that again, this is an allegation, that Joe Biden smelled her hair and kissed the back of her head at a campaign event in 2014. So more women came forward in light of that. So here's a list of the allegations. Lucy Flores, again, alleged that Biden smelled her hair and gave her a big, slow kiss on the back of her head at an event for her 2014 campaign. In that moment, she wrote, she felt embarrassed and shocked. I wanted nothing more than to get Biden away from me, she continued. In response to the essay, Biden claimed that he had no memory of having acted inappropriately, but added that if he was in the wrong, he would listen respectfully. Another woman came forward, Amy Lapos, and she was a congressional aide for U.S. Rep. Jim Hines in 2009. She claims that Biden touched and rubbed his nose against hers during a political fundraiser. It wasn't sexual, but he did grab me by the head. He put his hand around my neck and pulled me in to rub noses with me. When he was pulling me in, I thought he was going to kiss me on the mouth. DJ Hill. DJ Hill was one of two women to come forward with allegations in the New York Times, which referred to Biden's conduct as tactile politics in a report published on April 2nd. Hill alleges that Biden rested his hand on her shoulder and then started to move it down her back, which left her feeling very uncomfortable. Only he knows his intent, she told the Times, adding, if something makes you feel uncomfortable, then you have to feel able to say it. Another woman, Caitlin Caruso, this is in the same Times report, and Caitlin claimed that Biden hugged her just a little bit too long and laid his hand on her thigh. It doesn't even really cross your mind that such a person would dare perpetuate harm like that, she told the Times. These are supposed to be people you can trust. Allie Cole, another woman, she told the Washington Post that at a 2008 reception, Biden squeezed her shoulders, complimented her smile, and held her for a beat too long. Sophie Karasek. Sophie Karasek was photographed holding hands and touching foreheads with Biden at the Oscars, where she stood alongside 50 other sexual assault survivors during Lady Gaga's performance. It was a moment that went viral, but Karasek says she believes that Biden violated her personal space. Vale Konert-Yount. In the same Post report, Vale Konert-Yount alleged that when she was a White House intern in the spring of 2013, Biden put his hand on the back of her head and pressed his forehead to her forehead when he introduced himself, and that he called her a pretty girl, and she was shocked. And then another one that you are now very familiar with is Tara Reid, Alexandra Tara Reid. Alexandra Tara Reid told the Union that Biden touched her several times when she worked in the U.S. Senate office in 1993. Quote, he allegedly, quote, put his hand on my shoulder and run his finger up my neck. And so since then, we know that Tara Reid has come forward with additional allegations, including that he digitally penetrated her up against a cold wall, is the allegation that she made to Katie Halper and other outlets since then. So all in all, we have a variety of allegations where he, at the very least, allegedly did things that made women feel very uncomfortable, enough so that these women are coming forward to speak out about it. And this wasn't, you know, a lot of people say, well, why do women only come forward when it's beneficial politically? Well, think about the timing of this. This was a year ago where it was expected that Joe Biden would run, as we saw in the article. He ended up running, but this wasn't like a pivotal moment in the campaign. Not that it matters. Women can come forward whenever they feel comfortable, whenever they feel it's time to come forward. They can come forward when they want to. So it's a ridiculous argument. I just wanted to point out that the timing of these allegations. So a lot of people are familiar with organizations like Time's Up. They're familiar with Alyssa Milano with the Me Too hashtag, and they're familiar with the Kavanaugh hearing, the Christine Blasey Ford allegations. So let's dive into the hypocrisy here. Again, I'm not litigating these allegations against Joe Biden. I am presenting them to you so you have kind of an idea of what's been out there so far, which women have come forward and why so far. Let's take a look at, let's travel even further back in time. This was 2018, Kavanaugh Showdown commentary in real time. And this is an article in CNN, and you'll notice that they quoted or embedded a lot of tweets. So these tweets are embedded to show people at the time what was going on in real time. But you'll notice something. Some of these tweets are no longer embedded. Some are. You can see the ones that are. They stand out. And then some are not. Including Symone Sanders. Symone Sanders of the Joe Biden campaign. Her tweets are no longer embedded. The witnesses do not say it didn't happen. They say they have no memory of it, or they do not remember the night in question. Goodness, these are basic facts. Hashtag Kavanaugh confirmation. Another one who is a Me Too proponent is Jill Filipovic, and her tweets are no longer embedded. You can see several that are no longer embedded. Scroll down here, we see another one from Symone Sanders that is no longer embedded. Well, hashtag Brett Kavanaugh looks so unhinged, unprepared. This is not a good showing at all. Hashtag Kavanaugh confirmation. Symone Sanders, no longer embedded. I think you can see where I'm going with this. The tweets that are no longer embedded appear to no longer exist. And this has been making the rounds on social media, talking about the fact that supposed Me Too proponents have since deleted their tweets. Anita Hill, because she is a black woman, did not have the luxury of vulnerability before the all-white male Senate Judiciary Committee in 1991. Symone Sanders, no longer embedded. My thoughts exactly, Kate. This is all about all of the senators, not just the women. Symone Sanders. Again, you see where I'm going with this. When we do an advanced Twitter search for Symone Sanders and Kavanaugh confirmation, we come up with nothing. Why did Symone Sanders delete those tweets? Why? And this supposedly, from what's been going around on the internet, happened recently, after these allegations. I will correct that if that is in fact wrong, if she deleted these tweets sooner. I will correct that, but from everything I've been able to gather and see, she deleted these tweets after the allegations against Joe Biden came to light. The more serious, I don't want to diminish any allegation, but the most serious ones have come from Tara Reade. So after this, people started deleting their support of Christine Blasey Ford and about the Kavanaugh hearings. What's the reason? I'd love to know. And in fact, I am going to reach out to Symone Sanders and see what she has to say about this, because journalistically, that's important to do. So we will reach out and we will let you know if she has an explanation for these deleted tweets that are simply gone. Symone Sanders of the Biden campaign. This is highly disturbing, but it gets even worse, depending on what you want to consider worse. You all remember when Alyssa Milano did the hashtag #MeToo, and she didn't start the movement. A black woman started the movement. And actually, let me look that up, because I think it's important to, let's see. 1 second here. Because Alyssa Milano did not, in fact, start the Me Too movement. Tarana Burke. So the Me Too founder was, in fact, Tarana Burke. Here she is. I'll show you on the screen. So this has nothing to do with Tarana Burke. Good on her for starting this movement. In actuality, Alyssa Milano is who a lot of people know for tweeting about the Me Too, tweeting Me Too and really sparking even more of a conversation. So here we are. That's not really the important part. The important part is that Alyssa Milano, this person, this woman who is supposed to be standing up for women who have been sexually assaulted, is supposed to be standing up for women who have come forward about their sexual assault and sexual harassment. This celebrity who people have looked to for guidance on this issue, for support on this issue, all of a sudden, she's done a 180. She recently went on Andy Cohen's Sirius radio show. If you know Andy Cohen of Bravo fame, she went on his show and he asked her about the reason why she was trending. So let's listen to this and see what she has to say about these allegations against Joe Biden. Is she actually supporting women? Or is it only when it makes sense for her personally, politically, whatever it might be? I'll let you decide. Let's listen.
The other night, I logged on to Twitter, and typically my Twitter experience these days is I go on and I look at what's trending just to see, okay, it's basically a way of telling me what people are talking about. And you were trending.
Right. That's how I do it too.
Yeah. What did you do that you were trending?
So it's actually quite a serious reason, okay. I think. Okay. So I endorsed Joe Biden.
Okay, good.
And there have been accusations against Joe about a sexual assault.
Right, and people were saying, how can you do that? Because you're...
I have not publicly said anything about this. If you remember, it kind of took me a long time to publicly say anything about Harvey as well.
Okay.
Because I believe that even though we should believe women, and that is an important thing, and what that statement really means is, like, you know, for so long, the go-to has been not to believe them. So really we have to sort of societally change that mindset to believing women, but that does not mean at the expense of not, you know, giving men their due process and investigating situations.
I like that.
And giving, you know, it's got to be fair in both directions.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been very vocal about Biden and my support for him. I've known him for a long time, and
let's pause for a second and then I'll go back to the rest of that clip. So I agree with due process. I agree that there needs to be facts and vetting, and that you can't just report out or believe absolutely every allegation 100% and toss the man in jail immediately without due process. Of course I believe that. But this is not what Alyssa Milano was talking about when it didn't benefit the politician that she likes. Let's keep listening.
I did do my due diligence because part of it was that, and the article that sort of stood out to me was that Time's Up decided not to take the case. And so, you know,
that was important to you. That meant, well, maybe there's more to this story here.
Right. I did my work, and I spoke to Time's Up, and I just don't feel comfortable throwing away a decent man that I've known.
I have to pause again there. She says that she did her due diligence by going to Time's Up, and that Time's Up declined to take on Tara Reade's case. No. I've also done my due diligence, Alyssa. That's not what happened. Time's Up did not decline to take her case. Time's Up took her case, and they actually don't take cases. So let me rephrase that. Time's Up doesn't take cases. What they do is they have a group of independent lawyers that take cases. These lawyers work with Time's Up, and Time's Up helps connect people to lawyers. So that is exactly what Time's Up did. They connected Tara to lawyers, and for a variety of reasons, including Tara's own reasons, which I would love to ask her about, she didn't end up with any of the lawyers that Time's Up had recommended. It's a really complicated sort of way that they do this, but again, I've done my homework on this, and I know what Alyssa just said is not true. It's untruthful. Time's Up doesn't take cases. Time's Up did not decline to take her case. They helped Tara Reade as much as they would have helped anyone. The next step in the process would have been to potentially look at PR and things like that, but Tara Reade did not get to that step with the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund, which in fact is separate in a way from Time's Up itself. So if Alyssa had done her due diligence, she would know that that's not the truth. So I really want to ask Alyssa, what are you talking about? It's not true what you just said. So why are you saying it? I hope it's just that she misunderstands. But I'm not quite that naive. Let's keep listening.
For 15 years.
Yeah.
In this time of complete chaos, without there being a thorough investigation.
Yeah.
I'm sure that mainstream media would be jumping all over this as well if they
we weren't in a pandemic. If there was more credible, if there was evidence
if they found more evidence or
There's another thing that I have to point out. She says that if this were credible, that mainstream media would be all over this. No, Alyssa, it's for potentially the same reason that you're not all over this, because politically, the mainstream media wants Joe Biden to be the nominee. The mainstream media doesn't want Bernie Sanders at all, at any cost. Same with you. Alyssa Milano, by the way, is all over the place on Twitter bashing Bernie Sanders supporters, left and right. It's beyond absurd. Beyond. So no, mainstream media wouldn't be all over this. It has nothing to do with the credibility of Tara Reade's claims. It's just unbelievable. I get really, really heated about this because people who purport to want to help women, to want to support the truth, need to do better. You tell the truth and you support the truth no matter what, whether it's politically expedient or not. What is happening here? Why is Alyssa not telling the truth about what happened with Time's Up? Why is she doing this 180? Let's listen to the rest.
Through their investigate. So I'm just kind of staying quiet about it. And
Yep.
because I'm staying quiet about it,
you were getting dragged on Twitter by Bernie Bros.
Right. They're calling me hypocritical for and saying that I'm a fake feminist and all of this stuff. And I'm still trying desperately to stand back and be sort of objective about this, because I don't want this to, I sent the Me Too tweet over 2 years ago. I never thought that it would be something that was going to destroy innocent men, right? Like, we don't want that to happen either. So we have to find this balance in the Believe Women movement, and also giving men their due process, and realizing that we're destroying lives if we publicly don't go through the right steps in order to find out if an accusation is credible or not.
Again, I have to say, wow. Now, I want to be clear about something. It's not that I completely disagree with Alyssa. I agree with what she just said. I don't appreciate the added smear against Bernie Bros, and I don't appreciate Andy Cohen, who I happen to like, with this Bernie Bro talk either. It's ridiculous. Of course, we're used to it. I'm personally a Bernie Sanders supporter, even as a journalist, and I think it's better that I admit that. And it's so awful and divisive to constantly be called a Bernie bro. Anyway, the point is, I believe in due process. I believe that it's important to recognize and realize that innocent men have gotten dragged down due to this. This happened to someone very close to me, as you guys know. There are men who are wrongly, falsely accused for different motivations that have nothing to do with a woman having been actually harassed or sexually assaulted. Due process is important. What I'm calling out is the hypocrisy. Yes, Alyssa, it is hypocrisy what you are doing right now. What about all of the other allegations? Are you just dismissing those, Alyssa? Against Joe Biden. You can't have it both ways. Vet things, but don't do it at the expense of your credibility. And as far as I'm concerned, in Alyssa Milano acting like she is and giving that interview to Andy Cohen like she just did, she is really damaging her credibility for the Me Too and Time's Up movements. And it really enrages me. I have been sexually assaulted. And I think probably all women have been sexually harassed. So, yeah, false allegations really, really infuriate me as well. But there's nothing to indicate that these allegations are false. They need to be looked into. They need to be vetted. They don't need to just be dismissed offhand by people like Alyssa Milano. And people shouldn't be deleting their supportive tweets for Christine Blasey Ford and against Kavanaugh. Why are these tweets being deleted? Why is there a 180 by Alyssa Milano, the starter of the #MeToo tweet? And I happen to like Alyssa as well. In our Flint reporting a couple of years ago, Alyssa really helped us out by tweeting our story out. And it really got it the fire and the lift off it needed. So thank you for that, Alyssa. But I hope you do better. This has been Jenn Dize. And in happier news, I would like to remind you that you can join Status Coup as a member for free for 2 weeks. statuscoup.com/join. We have a free trial offer going on right now. Also, remember, Jordan is sick. He has a cough. He has a mild fever, and he's fatigued. So we don't know what that is, but he is taking a bit of a break right now as he needs to rest and recuperate. So best wishes to Jordan. Please shout him out on social media. Help him feel better. But you know what would make him feel as good as possible is you joining statuscoup.com/join. It is totally free for 2 weeks. Then it is just $5 a month after that, or you can cancel before you're charged anything at all. No worries at all. statuscoup.com/join. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.